Thank you for joining NSI Live. We're going to be shortly doing a video here, a live feed about the PolyDip Simplicité system. It's so popular in the industry right now, and our Simplicité is different to all your cyanoacrylate systems out there. It's fast, it's effective, it makes lots of money in the salon, and you can do so much with it. On this now, I'm going to do an all-over colour, dipping in our popular Cabernet, which I've got on mine. On this finger, I'm going to show you how to dip your tip to any colour you like. So all those colours that we have in our PolyDip system, you can make any French tip that you like. Very effective, very quick. I'm going to be using the same PolyDip colours with acrylic attraction powder and doing a sculpting on this one to show that you can extend with it. And then on the pinky, we're going to do an all-over colour in attraction with the dip systems. Just to show that even though it has the PolyDip on the top of the Simplicité, you can use it with the Simplicité system and also with our attraction. So first of all then, we're going to spray the finger, make it nice and clean, do all your prep with a purifier. Spray the whole hand, spray your hands. It's always nice to do, especially now in the winter. People getting colds, it's nice. Let's clean those hands up, make that finger nice and clean. I love the smell of that. Can you smell that?
I was just going to say how lovely
Smells of oranges, it's lovely. Okay, then we're going to do our prep. All our products are colour coded, so we're going to start off with Simplicité Prep, and that's green. Green is for go. That's how you start the product. So I'm going to do that all over the nail. So that's your prep. Second is going to be your bond. And this is going to help the adhesion for the system to the natural nail. I love the colours of the bottles, they are just so pretty. And then the magic ingredient. This is our poly base. This is the ingredient that does all the work. It's been synchronized in the lab and added properties to it that makes the powders absorb, give the depth of colour and have the adhesion. Now we do have to put a coat of this onto the natural nail to start the process off. And there is a reason for that. The poly base is put on nice and thin now. Can you see this brush? It's stumpy for a reason. Because you need to stretch the product. It needs to go on very thin. The beauty of the Simplicité system is it's a very thin product, so it's ideal for your techs that are either nervous about nails or you want a very fast service. It self-levels, but you need to stretch it, don't float it. And it's going to go in the lamp for 30 seconds. So the PolyDip system is very good for new techs within the salon as well. If you're a salon owner and you want to get your techs up to speed, if they can paint a nail, they can use the PolyDip system. The beauty of it is that it hugs the nail. You can't overbuild it, you can't make it too fat because the powder that goes in there will only fit so much and absorb so much. So anything that's left on the top of the nail when it's finished, you don't need it. Now we've put one layer of the PolyDip underneath. If you can imagine the powder that we have from the PolyDip system that we'll be using is the opaque, we also have the pink silk, and we also have the clear. These powders have been chosen to give the best results within the system. So when you dip with this, you'll get the clarity that you need and gives you the best results. You can use the other powders, but you might not get the clarity. So that's why, if they've got the Simplicité on there, they've been chosen for you to get the best results. We're going to use the pink silk because that's my favourite. Now, what we was talking about, the reason why we have one base coat on here already of the poly base is because the powder are circular beads. Imagine these circular beads, and what they need to do is absorb into the tacky residue. If you put a coat of your poly base on first and then you dip straight away, the base of that polymer powder is touching the natural nail. and won't be adhesive. Because you've got your coat of the poly base and then that's cured, and then we're going to repeat it, the base of the powder is absorbing into our coat we have already, and you'll get better adhesion, and that's why we do it. It's a bit like a gel system, isn't it? You always put your first coat down. So we're going to do another layer now of the poly base and go straight into our dipping. The beauty of this as well is you can paint all 5 nails. You don't have to paint one nail and then dip, because it's not going to dry or cure until it goes into the lamp. Because that's the modern technology, we're using the light system all the time. Now we have these absolutely beautiful jars here. These are on my tabletop all the time. I love these.
They're gorgeous, those.
They are absolutely amazing. One of my clients wants to buy these for her face cream because she likes the diamantes on the top. Now the beauty of these is you can pour any colour powder you like in there, so you can have your favourite colours on the top. But I've got, see with the NSI eye here, I actually put a diamante of clear on there for that one. I then put a pink one for my pink silk, and I have an opaque pink one for my opaque powder, and that's what I really love. The beauty of these can be taken out as well, so I can actually have my powders all ready and just drop the powder that I want to put in there. Now note, ladies, this is plastic. This is not designed, this jar, for your liquid monomers, because a monomer will melt plastic, so don't put your liquid in there. It's for powder only. So I'm going to put my pink silk in there. The reason why I like it in here is because I can dip out of this pot already, and it's quite nice to do that, but I find it easier in here because it's got a wider surface and it looks nicer on my tabletop. So as you can see, I've done my base and I'm now going to dip straight in. Stop just slightly from the cuticle area, and then what I'm going to do is just tap the powder towards the cuticle so it doesn't get like too fat in that area. Okay. Now you see this powder that's sitting on the top? That means it's not needed. But don't brush it off now because you're going to make lines in it. It needs to go in the light to cure first. So we're going to put that in.
And it's completely odourless as well, Denise, isn't it?
It is. A lot of salons now are going odour-free, so which is quite nice. So this is the basic of our Simplicité system, doing the basic colour. Now you can dip in the colours. We've got these beautiful jars here, which are actually made in the colour. Look at that. That is just absolutely beautiful.
It's so popular, that one now.
And the jars are this size as well, because again, you've got the width on the top. Okay, you've got that surface on there. So you've got the space to dip into. These are 40-gram jars, so you get a lovely, lovely size in there. So it's going to last a while. If you've got the smaller ones, these are your sample ones. You can not only dip, if some of you are uncomfortable dipping, you can also sprinkle as well. So we're doing our basic system first, and then we're going to show you the difference in the colour. When you've got a nail this size, we're just going to brush off that excess. Get rid of the dust. And you can see there, it goes nice and clear. Now turning to the side, I can see that's self-levelled nicely. So now I'm just going to go back in and do my second coat. If you have a dip in the centre, now looking at this for example, that really doesn't need any more product here and any more product here. So do I really need to dip twice? I don't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do what we call a strap, and this reinforces it. So you don't always need 2 coats. So you've got to, as a nail tech, go, what do I need to do? So I'm going to do what we call a reinforcement strap, just across the side there. And then I'm going to dip back in the pink silk. And it will only grip to the area where you've put the strap. And that's going to give me the apex and that strength where it is. That goes in to cure. Now if you're not comfortable in dipping the finger in, or your client's not comfortable in that, then I often use something like this. Where you can actually just dip it in, and then I could just sprinkle on the nail. Okay. You're not going to get quite as depth as colour, because the idea of the dipping is when your finger goes in, it's actually pushing the powder into the poly base, which gives you much density of colour then. And how does that feel, Karen? It's
Great,
not,
it's not tight.
exactly. And that's the difference within our dip system as well. I'm just going to get rid of the excess of that. Okay.
So we've got a question here saying, how do you get an apex? I mean, you've put the strap on there, but if you wanted a higher apex, what would you do?
If you wanted a higher apex, then you can actually put the product, put the poly base all over the nail, okay? And then you could dip 2/3 of the way down, and that would give you a higher apex from further back. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to just seal over here, because if you feel this is rough. You can actually feel the top part of those little circular polymer beads on the top. If I file straight away now, then it's going to file all over the place, a bit like sandpaper does. So we need to make this a solid by just painting over the top. If I need to put a bit more bulk or have a bit more sturdiness to it, then I'm going to seal with the poly base. If you look at it and think, oh, I don't want to add any more base, any more height on top of that, then you can just go over the top with the seal before filing. But I like the self-leveling of the poly base, so I'm just going to paint over that. Now remember, if you're doing a whole hand, the reason why it's so speedy, we actually did a speed test between the Simplicité, and it's actually live on YouTube, you can actually look it up, where we did one hand in a set of nails with our Simplicité against the Cyanidip system, and over 2 hands we were 11 minutes faster. That's quite a lot in the day.
There's absolutely no heat spike in there whatsoever.
Nothing. It's very comfortable for the client. When the client dips her finger into this and her finger goes in at that, see that angle there? Okay, what you don't want to do, don't get them to do this. Okay, if they do this, the product pushes to the side, because you know what clients are like. They like to help you out a little bit, don't they? So don't get them to do this. You want to slide it in at a 45-degree angle, and what you can see is the powder then travel up the bottom. Okay. Another trick as well, if you can see this, before you dip, if you are going to use the powdered pots that they come in, the Simplicité pots, then what you need to do is you need to turn it upside down and give it a tap. And what this does is breaks, when it's been sitting on your shelf, all that powder compacts down on each other, and you'll feel, if you put your finger in it, you can feel resistance. If you turn it upside down, give it a tap, it will release it, and you'll see it travel up the nail a lot easier. Okay, that's come out now. We're just going to wipe with Cleanse. Cleanse is going to take the tacky residue off the nail, because that's tacky before we start filing. Otherwise, your files are going to be a little bit messy. Okay, give that a nice clean. Let's bring it a bit forward. And then we're going to file. Now, because that is so smooth, and when you look down the barrel, it's not very thick at all, I don't need a harsh file. Okay? So you need literally a 180, or literally, I use these quite a lot, the combo files within the salon. We're just going to file it, because this has got a tip on it.
You can't believe it's strong enough to file, can you, considering you've just put so little product on?
Well, that's what I say, sometimes less is more. On certain things and materials, as they go together, they don't have to be thick to be strong. And I think that's as a tech we have to get our heads around, really, is that, you know, it is strong. You have to trust the product.
Yeah. It looks so natural though, doesn't it, as well? I love it.
It does. And this is ideal for those guys, if you that are doing gel polish all the time. If you're doing gel polish, come on a course and do this, and you can then add extensions. You can still keep your salon odour free. It's very quick and easy. Salon owners, if you need to get your girls up and running to do extensions, you know, you'll make money out of them a lot quicker, because it's so much easier to do rather than the skill level of doing the acrylics or the gels. You'll find they'll grasp onto this and then move on to those when their confidence is up. See how easy that is? I haven't really had to file that much at all, which is great. It's also good for upselling. So those of you that are doing gel polish within the salon, you can use this to strengthen natural nails, coat natural nails within the salon, and charge a little bit more for it. So if you was coming in for like a gel polish, I could reinforce all these nails by dipping, and you'd only dip once, and I would charge £1 per dip, because you might have said, oh, this one's feeling a bit weak. Say if you've got your price for example, say £25 for gel polish, and you say, oh, this one's flaking a little bit at the end. Can I reinforce that? Yeah, I can. Put a dip on it, you charge them £1.
Yeah.
Then you might find they come back and they say, oh, I like that. Can you do it on all of them? You've upgraded your gel polish system.
Would you have to soak off each time then with your gel polish, or could you just file off the gel polish and just re-dip again for the natural?
You can re-dip, you can maintain it. So if you was come back from maintenance, we'd have to file, obviously, a little bit bulk off. You don't want to have bulk, and you'd only dip once. Okay, so you'd file it on a maintenance. I would file all this down, nice and thin, clean it all up. Polybase, cure. Polybase, dip once, cure. Then I'd put seal on the top there because I don't want to make it any bulky. Buff over the top because it'd be so smooth, and then I'd put my gel polish on.
That's great, isn't it? So there's no soak off each time then, it's great.
Also, what I've got on a client on a budget who's a gel polish lady, and what I do with her, I dip and do gel polish on the top. When she comes back for the next time, I file off the gel colour, but I don't dip, I just do a gel polish service, and I only dip every other time.
That's amazing,
that helps
isn't
as
it?
well. Yeah. Obviously, if they're dipping in a colour, which I'm going to do on this one just as a sample to show. If I'm going to dip on a colour, like this one, you can, I wouldn't really want to maintain on that really, because what you'll find is as you maintain here, this will be paler than the depth of colour you've got on there. You have to file the colour all off. So there's two ways you can do that. See how we've got this one here we've done in our pink silk. I could just put a polybase on because these powders a lot finer.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why they're finer is so they absorb more and give you depth of colour. So if you said to me, oh Denise, I really like that, and I've already made your nail out of your clear, I can put a polybase on and dip in that colour, and it will give you colour straight away. If you want more depth of colour, I've got a client who likes her nails really, really, really thin. I can dip twice in this colour instead of twice in the
straight on with the colour.
Straight on with the colour, you will get the strength. But you'd have to dip the colour twice.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can dip the colour. I'm going to show you how to reinforce the depth of colour in just one moment. So these powders are really, really fine. So you can use them on the top. But if someone they're now built in this colour and then they want to go to a pale grey, I don't mean to be funny, we can't do miracles. It's like you saying you've got blonde hair, you want to go jet black.
Yeah.
And then
to be realistic.
And then you want to say, I want to go back blonde. I can't guarantee it won't be perfect. Okay. So use your tech skills really. So I'm just going to finish this one off then. I'm just going to clean it up. So I'm going to wipe over with cleanse, get rid of all that dust, and then I'm just going to put the seal on. I want to show you how natural it is and how clear it is, because that's the difference with ours as well. With other systems where you have to activate, what you find is you might start filing and it pulls apart. Okay, so this is our seal, which is our top coat. I love the bottles, they're so pretty. Makes me feel really good.
Yeah, they do look good. It's such a comfortable service for the client though.
Yeah.
Having this done, it's so easy to just sit here and there's no pull, there's no tightening, no odour. It's brilliant, it's great.
And look how natural that is.
Yeah, it's lovely. And
those people that can't wear nail varnish to work, if you use our matte top coat over the top, it makes it look like an actual
completely natural nail.
Yeah.
And not everybody likes that full apex look on nails, do they? They do like the natural look.
No. So on the little one, I will do then, just to show you it in colour, because the colours are so rich and so intense. This one is the Cabernet, and we've got one, look at these. This one's beautiful. What's this one? This is String Bikini. That's a charming colour, isn't it? Woo! Look at that.
Wow. That's bright.
Yeah. And then this is a beautiful one as well. I think this one is Simply Irresistible. Oh, that's me. And that one's got a shimmer.
Oh, so it's lovely. I like that.
Yeah. Now this I'm going to do later on as a marble. Look at those three together.
They go well. Yeah.
They would go really well. So
Yeah,
I'm going to have to do a bit of artwork as well. Actually, Karen, you're going to have all lots of different nails.
I know.
But I have got some sticks as well, so some of them,
I don't mind.
Okay, let's just give this. These are really good to work on. These are our NSI. They're laminated, so you can wipe them over quite nicely.
Yeah.
Okay, so just wipe with cleanse, get rid of that. Bit of oil. Look how natural that is by itself and so quick.
So strong.
Just going to put a bit of nurture oil on. Good retail item for your client. massage it in. Like your whole hand done, a bit of massage while you're here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Bit of effleurage. Look at that.
If anyone's got any questions, please ask away. This is what we're here for today. Any questions at all? It'd be great to hear what your thoughts are.
But definitely think about upselling your gel polish service into a dipping service, because it allows you just to help that client grow her nails and make it more natural.
It's just so strong.
It is so strong.
You can't believe it. It's that light, but it is that strong.
If you look at the camera, if you look how natural and how thin that is,
Yeah.
If you look how thin that is, to get a technician who is an acrylic person to get that thinness is a high skill level, where this allows them to do beautiful nails.
And it's really quick, isn't it?
And it's really quick.
So really, someone coming lunch, half an hour, 40 minutes, just to do something like that.
Do a full set of just, if you came in just through a dip service and you just have them natural with nothing on like that, I can do that in 25 minutes.
Fabulous.
If you want a gel polish on, it's just painting on top.
Yeah.
But if you're dipping in colour, it's still 25 minutes. Yeah. With a tip, I've actually done a tip with dipping system and with a gel polish finish in 37 minutes.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
You can see from the side, it's
nice apex of capping that is very natural, because the gel polish has made people want that real more natural slender looking nails.
Yeah.
They don't want that to look like they've got extensions on. They want to cheat and lie.
And it's when you do have a natural nail, it does look nice, doesn't it? It's not often we do that. We always put colour on, but when you do have a natural nail, it looks lovely.
It makes you realise how nice you can do that. Okay, so let's just do one in colour, just so I can show you. We're going to do a colour one on this end one here, to show you how intense the colours are on your little pinky. Just so on a natural nail, because this was on tip, just to show you the system exactly the same. Remember, the powders are extremely fine in these ones, so you do dip twice. So first things first, remember, green is for go.
Never forget that now. Green for go.
Green for go. And this is a dehydrator.
You'll get loads of sets out of that, won't you?
Oh, you do, yeah, exactly. The main thing you're going to go through is your poly base.
Your number three.
Number three. Right, the bond. Okay. Lovely purple, NSI purple. And this is for the adhesion. Okay, this is going to make it longevity onto the natural nail. Do you like that word? Longevity.
I do, it's a good word.
And then we have our beautiful magic ingredients in the hot pink, which is our poly base. Remember, don't float it. Even though you think it's like gel, you don't want to float it like a gel, because when you dip it in your powder, you're going to get movement. You only need, that's what the short brush is for. You want you to really stretch that product. And if you can paint, you can do it. No, make sure there's nothing at all like that. Okay, put that in. Remember, that base there is the key to everything. You need that one to make the product adhere. Okay. Remember I said about the colours, we're going to turn the pot upside down, give it a tap.
What does that do again, Denise?
What that does is freeze all the powder, because when it's been sitting on the shelf, if you've actually got a pot of powder and did this, okay, it compacts down on each other. So when you actually feel the surface of it like this, that's solid. You can't get your finger in there. And that's also why I quite like using these pots, because if you was using it fresh and you go, okay, I like that colour, you can pour it in straight away and it's freeing up the surface of the powder. Remember, these pots are just for powders, not for liquid. So if you thought, oh, that's a bit, you can just pour it straight in. But the design of the pots,
it's a gorgeous colour.
Now, what that's doing is almost like putting air in that powder. But you can use these powders straight away. And the reason why we've designed these pots, one, because it's a 40-gram jar, but two, it's the width, so you can actually slide your finger into it. If it's too narrow, you have to go in like this again, which you're going into the depth of it, which is going to push the powder out.
So Mary Jane's just joined us. Hi, Mary Jane.
Hi.
She said, what's on the index fingernail? So if we can just slight recap of what we've done on the index.
I've done the PolyDip system here with the tip, and I've used the pink silk. This is my favourite one. The pink silk is is my favourite colour. I use most of this in the salon all the time. I do like clear, but I like just that hint of pink, which just makes the...
It's very healthy, doesn't it?
It does. There it is inside. Just got a hint of pink in there, and how natural that is. The tips I've used on those today are the Dura tips, the Ultra Deep Smile Line. Which are these ones? Can you see? Look at your hand's not the star of the show here. There you go. They're the tips that I've been using on there. And these ones, you have it's got Ultra Deep Smile Line. Remember that, because on the next one I'll do after this now is going to show you how to make a tip any colour you like.
There's no blend with that, was there at all? Really, just
no. It's very minimal. Is that Sarah?
Hi, Sarah.
Okay. I'm just going to dip this in colour. I've just made, put the base on here, so I've just put the poly gel on here. I'm going to do my second coat, because now I'm going to dip in powder. So be very careful where you're painting, because this is where everything is going to be. And if you want really neat edges, then this is what's going to make the difference. Okay. And then we're going to dip in the Cabernet. Remember, see how I'm just manoeuvring my client's finger, okay? And just tap to clear. And if you just wait a couple of seconds, I can see it then absorbing.
You can, you can literally see it
absorbing,
yeah.
You can also do a second dip, just for it to absorb a bit more colour for you. And then it's going to go into cure. Anything that sits on the top, remember, you don't need it. Okay, don't brush it off when it's wet, because you'll put lines in it. That's going to go into cure just for 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Now, when it comes out, it's got a tacky residue on. And those of you that do gel polish, you often do a dry brush into gel polish with glitters. What we're going to do is dip the brush in the powder and dry brush over the nail. And
is that for a deeper colour?
It's for a deeper colour, because what people often do is just keep adding polybase and dipping to get a deeper colour. Well, all you want is
need to do that. Yeah.
So anything that's there, I'm just going to dip it in, and I'm just going to, and it'll absorb the pigment, okay, without giving bulk, okay. Then we're going to go in for our second, and this is where you see any of your edges you've missed. This is where you need to go and really be nice and tight.
Oh, Mary Jane loves a natural nail.
There you go.
I think it's my favourite at the moment, Mary Jane.
There we go. And you can see when that's gone on, that's richened up as well. So we're going to go, the first one we dipped, I'm going to show you a different way for those of you that don't want to dip, but you want to sprinkle. Okay, so I've just put there just to catch everything, and I'm just using a thing, so you can just sprinkle as well if you want to, if you feel more comfortable doing that.
You don't feel the pressure though the same, do you, when you go in? You can see the difference between that and when you actually go into the pot. You've got that pressure of the powder.
And what it's doing is pushing all those polymer beads together.
Closer in, yeah.
I was like my lift one. It's like how many people can fit in the lift. Once it's all full, that's it. Okay, that's going to go into cure. We have so many beautiful colours. We were just showing earlier. I've just got just a couple of here in the new pots. Look at that. This one is absolutely lovely. I might just dip that and have a look at that colour, because I've not.
How many colours have we got now, Denise?
In the range, we've got over, I think it's 84, and we've got more coming out. We bring out 4 every season, you know, with each season that we have. As we bring out gel polish colours, we bring out different powders as well. And then we've got in the large jars, we've chosen the most popular ones, because not everyone wants to have. Look at this. Let's just have a quick look. Just going to have a look at this colour, see if that comes down. 2 examples.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so you can go in for a second dip, can't you?
You can, especially with a shimmer. You can actually go in. I didn't fluff this powder, and that's a typical example. Remember I said turn it upside down?
Yeah.
It's quite solid. If you feel that, can you feel it's underneath there is solid.
Solid.
Yeah.
You can see that.
You need to, yes, you need to fluff. And that's where those of you that say, like, you might get your wrinkle because you get to there and then you're pushing it and forcing it, and you'll get like a wrinkle because you've pushed the gel. So think about that. have a feel of your powder, make sure you pop it, or literally just get one of these.
And just sprinkle.
Yeah. Find what's right for you.
There's no real right or wrong, is there, on that one, I suppose?
No, that's fine. But as long as your client, I've got a client that likes finger in there. Okay. So what we're going to do now is just get rid of that all around here. See this? What I'm saying about intensify. Can you see that that look on the top there? Can you see it's got like the residue? See how this absorbs the powder. Okay. If I just drag brush that in, can you see how that richened down?
Yeah.
I've not made any extra bulk. Can you see that?
Yeah. It's made a massive difference.
Massive difference. So rather than dipping, you imagine now I've got almost like 4 coats of colour there, but I've only actually dipped twice.
And
because
still
I've dipped dry brush, and it's just taken. Yeah, there's no bulk on that whatsoever. Yeah. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, if your client wants a bit of strength in there, a bit more strength, you can dip in a clear. So you can do poly base and dip in a clear. Now this is depending on you guys now. In the salon, what I would do, I'd poly base over the top of that and just buff, because the thickness of the poly base will give me that extra bit of the buffing. Okay. If you're really heavy-handed, you might need to dip in a clear, because if you go through that and file through your colour, you're just using a too heavy file, or you're doing too heavy-handed. Okay. So let's just seal this, and you'll see the colour really pop. Can you see the difference though between, this isn't going to give you the same look as a gel polish because it's a powder. It's still going to be glossy, and it's still going to be, it won't give you what I call that plasticine look that a gel polish is. But the beauty of this, and why I like wearing it like this, is because if imagine having this colour, that's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's so deep, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little buff and that'll be sorted. In you go. And that's where the quickness is, it's just literally a buff over. If you need to file, you file. If you need to buff, you buff. It depends on how neat you are when you work. What I was going to say is, when you have, if you look at mine, for example, on this one, this is dipped. Okay, this is dipped. This is the same colour using attraction powder. So I can give the same look all over with the dipping, but you see it has a slightly different look. The reason being that it's not a problem with the powders, is because this is melting and dissolving and suspended in a gel, in a ligma. With acrylic, it will melt it in a different way. It's a different chemistry. So even though it's the same colour, it's only slightly different. See, it just gives a slightly different look.
It is amazing that you can use this as a dip or with your acrylic liquid and do it as a
it gives me so much more colours to work with in the salon.
It's fabulous.
All our products cross over the range, which is great.
Athena's just joined us. Hi Athena. She said, can I use these on clients, or do I need to train in them first for insurance reasons? She's trained in acrylic tip and overlay with the NSI attraction and would love to try these two.
Retrain for a dipping, or to use them in attraction?
For the insurance, can she go ahead, use this, and she's got insurance obviously because she's a fully qualified nail technician.
You're a fully qualified nail technician. When you do a dip system, I would always suggest coming on a conversion course
I was going to say,
to actually use it correctly. I'm just going to buff over this.
And you do get a certificate when you've done the conversion course, which will get you the insurance there.
Yeah, because if you can see what the product does, it answers all your questions. You're not making mistakes on your clients then. Does that answer your question? But as a qualified nail technician, you should be able to pick it up. With any system that comes out, always do like that conversion really, because there are little hints and tricks. Rather than, every time I do a conversion, I show people what you can do with it. They don't actually realise how much you can do with it. We did one yesterday, didn't we? Look at how much they learn just from using that.
And we do tend to do a conversion once a month, and it's completely free.
Oh, excellent.
Obviously, just buy the kit to come on the course, and you've got a couple of hours where you can have a go, get to know all the do's and don'ts, and get confident with the products. Really, it's quite good. So
now I'm just going to seal it, because that's our top coat. Okay, and you're going to see that colour really, really pop. You can see I literally only buffed around there, tidied up the edges.
So the seal's like a top coat as well, is it?
Now, if you notice with this one, I did the 2 dips, didn't I, in the colour. where with our hardcore products I only did the one and then a strap. That's because the hardcore products beads, because they're a builder to build up height, are a larger bead size than with the colour.
Yeah.
And that
makes sense. Yeah.
But do dry brush in between, just literally do that, and the tacky residue absorbs colour and doesn't do bulk, and that will give you more intensity in your colour. This is a marbling, and this is this is the most fun thing in the world to do that.
They look good, don't they?
Yeah, they do look good. So while when we finish this off, I'll just quickly show that. I can do that on a tip, and I can show how to do your ombre as well. So I'm just going to use cleanse just to take off the tacky residue.
Oh, Athena says thank you. I think we've answered a question.
You're
there.
welcome. You'll love this bit. I think if you're a technician, you know yourself, marbling and colour fading in acrylic. You have to be, a high-level technician to do that. I'm going to show you the quickest way in the world to actually do marbling. And I'll just massage that in. And that feels nice and strong.
Oh, yeah,
feel that?
It feels great.
Feels nice. And in fact, you can see how much thinner that is as if you put like 4 coats of
exactly.
on top. Nice and thin.
Thanks, Denise.
You're welcome. Right, so here's a little trick. I'm going to use the white from the dipping powder. And I'm using quite a lot here because it's for the height of the tray, but I've got actually a finer one that I use back in my salon. But remember, you need a reasonable amount in there if you're going to do quite a few. If you're doing the whole hand, if you just do one now, you don't need to put so much in there. Under camera.
I just love those colours.
Oh, look at these together. Okay, so we're going to make a swirling motion here. So we're going to put a bit of this in, just randomly. Okay. Then we're going to do a bit of this string bikini.
When do you think that's going to do 10 nails, is it?
I would do, yes, I would do like this for 10 nails. And then we're going to put a bit of Simply Irresistible. And then
so you're adding shimmer with that one as well, aren't you?
Yeah. You can always add glitters and that afterwards, because remember, sometimes when you dip, like with the Cabernet, we did 2 dips in the same colour. You could do a Cabernet and do one of our sheer powders.
The white diamonds is gorgeous,
I know,
isn't
it's just amazing. So now we're just going to do a little bit of a swirl. Okay, it's just gently tap it. See what I'm doing is I'm actually making a marble. Just bring the colours in together. Not too much, but just enough to give different colours. And a bit dark into that. Okay. So this is where
it's like an art class.
Yeah. So if you're doing this on a nail, you do your poly base first and cure it. I'm just going to show you very quickly then what you do afterwards. So I'm just going to put poly base on the nail, and this is where you roll it gently, and you need to control your clients. I'm just going to roll it gently, like so. If you miss it, that's fine. We're just going to roll it again. And how cool is that?
It's instant, isn't it?
It's instant. There you have
the different variations that you could do.
Yeah. Now that would be on like a clear base. Now if you look at my fingers here, this was done on a natural nail like yours. But on this one, I actually did this base first and then did exactly the same over the top. And you can see how it gives a different look.
Depth there, yeah.
So I'd say play around with that and see what you like. So this is just dipped totally on a clear underneath. And this one I had the Cabernet underneath it already just to give an effect. So it gives a different look. But it's so fab. You can make all difference. Now, you'd be surprised how much of that powder goes down when you're doing all 10 nails.
Yeah, you've hardly touched it.
Yeah. What I'd do is I'd dip once in the combination like this, and then I'll dip in a clear so I can file over the top. Okay, I'm just going to put the poly base over the top of that, just so you can see those colours really pop out. And then if I was doing this on the natural nail, I'd then dip in a clear powder to seal it so I can then lightly buff over the top. Can you see that? Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
How easy is that? And you'd be surprised. It's something that's very wearable for even clients that don't do nail art actually do quite like that because it's a soft marble, isn't it?
It's nice and flat as well, you know.
Yeah, and to do that with acrylic, with liquid and powder, you'd be probably swearing.
Yeah, exactly. And it would take quite some time as well to achieve that with acrylic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's just so quick and so easy. Okay, so have a go at that one. Okay. We was also talking about doing smile lines, weren't we?
Yes.
So let's come back to that. I'm going to show you two different ways of doing. We're going to be doing one method on here and one method on here. So you can do your smile lines quite easily by dipping. If I was doing a smile line on Karen's now, for example, on here, I would actually put my tip on or extend, or even on this, I would actually do your poly base, you cure, you poly base, and then you dip and do your smile line, and then you dip straight away in either your sheer pink, opal, opaque pink, or your clear, because where it's gone over here, that absorbs, and it stops you having a ridge. It always keeps your nail at the same level. I would then cure it, then poly base again, and go over with a clear powder. Dip in a clear powder, come back out, poly base. So smile lines, if I can just show you very quickly again. You need quite a full pot, so let's just go back to the one I filled up because it'd be easy to work from there.
I was amazed to know that you get about 90 sets of nails out of the 40-gram pot.
Oh, you get loads.
You probably use more with the colours, possibly, if you want to dry brush in.
Yeah. So you can see how you can use this to top up, or you can use it straight away. If you wanted to, what you can do, imagine if you can buy the small ones like this and just top this pot up so it's always relatively full. Here we go. Angle it at 90 degree angle and watch how the powder goes up and down. Keep your points even, and then we go in. Now what I want you to do, remember it needs to absorb, so just hold it for about 5 seconds. Okay, so when you bring it out, angle it down towards the pot and tap it back out, because what you don't want to do is the powder to jump that way and cloud your smile line. And there you have.
How fabulous is that?
There you go. So when your client comes in for the maintenance, that's how you can redo your smile lines. Okay. And you only need, on that colour, the depth there, to do it once.
That's really covered, hasn't it?
It's beautiful. If you need to do it twice, you can go back in, but the difference is you have to make sure you do it exactly where you do. So with our one, it absorbs enough in the one. Okay.
Brilliant.
Right, so this is playing around. So practice with these first. You dip in and getting your smile line. If your client's got a naturally curved nail, you'll get a naturally curved smile line. If her nail's quite flat, then you will get a flat smile line. But what you can do, which you can't do with other dip systems, is if you actually didn't like that smile line and you wanted to correct it, what you can do, because remember ours doesn't cure until it goes in the lamp. So if you wanted to tidy up, you could actually come back, see what I mean, and just neaten that up. So don't panic if you go, oh God, that's a bit crooked. Go back with the gel brush and just neaten that up, because until it goes in the lamp, and then you can just dip it in your other powder and then put it into cure.
And for those that are not confident, they've not tried it before, if it's not right, they can wipe off and start again, because if it's not cured, it's not going to stay.
Gives you that time and expertise for that. So now we're going to go into something really cool. This is my favourite thing. I love smile lines. People know me know smile lines is my thing. I actually like it. As much as I love art, you can't beat a beautiful smile line. Now we've done 2 techniques here. Dip in and then putting a strap on for strength. Dip in by 2 dips totally. Okay, 2 different methods for 2 different looks. You've got to decide what it is you want to achieve on your client's nail. What have they asked you to do, and adapt. It's like any system, any product, and as a technician, you look at the fingernails and decide what it is you want to do. So on here, I've already scuffed the nail already. Okay, so let's just spray with Purify. Okay, and then what we're going to do, when that's totally dry, I'm going to stick a tip on. I'm going to dip the tip first. Okay, so that can dry. I'm going to pre-do my tip, so excuse me just one moment. You need tips that are well-less here and that have deep smile lines. So we're going to size the tip up first. Let me just check, I think that one's fine.
So these are Dura Ultra?
These are the Ultra because they've got the deep smile line. The precision tips are good for this as well. There you go, look at that smile line. Now, this is the magic, this is just so cool. I'm going to just take the shine off the natural nail first because that allows it all to grip. So I'm just going to get the buffer and take the shine off that natural nail. Okay. Get the dust. Then I'm going to use the polybase. Okay, and I'm going to paint the tip of the nail. Now you can imagine how many colours we've got. We've got, let's say, over 84 colours. So I'm just going to paint that on, and then I'm going to dip it into my powder. Now how cool is this? Ready? That's going to go in, just very gently. Okay, allow it to absorb. Okay, tap it off. You have a light side on the side, that's right. Now it's absorbed quite a lot, and I'm going to make it denser by just dip it in again. And I now have a colour tip. Now you can do this with white. So if you aren't comfortable dipping in the white for the French, you can make your own white French tips.
How easy is that?
I know. I could have done one coat in that and then one coat in glitter. I could even dip just this part in a glitter and make an ombre.
Yeah.
Already pre-designed.
What you can do. It's so easy.
We're going to cure that now because that needs to go hard. And you could get all those. So what you could do, just stick that upside down. My poor tip just did a bit of dive.
We have got a question here. Hi, Luba. The question is, do you need to seal before you buff, or do you need to take to a base? I think what she's saying there. Do you need to seal it before you buff?
What, the natural nail or the tip that I've just dipped?
Do you need to seal it before you buff?
You
can buff after you've sealed and then reseal, can't you?
On which bit are we? One bit on the natural nail, on the finished nail?
I'm not quite sure.
Can you just elaborate that? It says, do you need to seal before you buff, or do you need to take a base? Do you mean do polybase before you buff it? Is that the nail that we've just done on the colour?
Does she mean, do we need to do a layer of polybase before we put the seal on, or can we just go straight on with the seal on top of?
You can go straight on with seal. Seal will do, if you remember right at the beginning, when you've dipped in the powder and it's cured, it has like a rough surface because all the beads of polymers are sitting on top of each other. So if you seal on the top of that with polybase, it will self-level with you and it's slightly thicker. So if you think, I don't need to dip again, but I just need a bit more, or I don't want to fold through the colour, this will give you more protection before buffing. If it's really smooth, then the seal
is enough on its own. Is enough. Yeah.
So if you want to keep it simple, you can just keep that as your top coat, and if you're building with that, that's absolutely fine. Okay. This won't give you bulk. This will.
So if it's a flatter nail, that'd be great to have an extra layer of the polybase just to give it that extra. But
if you've dipped twice and you think, oh, I don't want to put any more bulk in that, put the seal on and buff it and then seal again. But I use most of this most of the time and keep this as my top coat. It keeps it simple.
So Luba's put when you dip, that's what she's meaning. So obviously when you've dipped the colour,
yep,
you could go on with the seal like we've just said instead of putting on the polybase.
You can, but if you're going to buff it, you will buff through that seal because it's very thin.
Right.
Yeah. If you just seal that and buff straight away, you'll probably go through some of your colour and that will make your colour patchy.
Right.
What this does, by putting this on before buffing, gives you a slightly thicker residue so you can actually refine it and then finish with the seal as your top coat.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
When you're doing the natural, you wouldn't really need to do that, would you? Because you're not going to foul through any colour. No, it's going to be really quite straightforward and simple.
I would put the polybase on before buffing.
Does that help, Luba? I hope so.
Hopefully. Right, so I'm going to take my tip out. Here's my tip with my colour on it. You see? So, and I'm going to stick it straight onto the nail and see what beautiful smile line that gives me. But the technique we're going to be doing, the building of this, is going to be slightly different. So I'm just going to get my poly base glue. I'm just going to glue it on the free edge only. I'm going to hold it, usually for about 5-10 seconds, depending. And it's given me a beautiful smile line. But imagine how many different colours. You could do your ombres, you can dip in glitter, do whatever you like, okay? And that's just held. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to do your prep and everything else on the nail now. Remember our green for go, so it's going to do our prep. And then I'm going to do the bond. This is going to help with adhesion.
So Rebecca's put she's unsure about using it for extensions with building an apex, etc. But this is an extension, really, what you're doing now. So
yes, but this is a slightly different method to how I did this one.
Yeah.
Okay, because with the tip on this one, we did a tip and we blended, which makes a flat surface all the way through. So to do this one, I've put a tip on. I put the poly base on, cured it. Then I put poly base on, dipped the whole nail, cured it. Poly base strap here on your apex area, dipped it, cured it, and then poly base on the top, cured and fold. Now with this one, I've got a ridge here, so if you watch the method of this, I'm going to show you how this comes up. This is just so clever, and this stops you getting that dip like that.
Rebecca's put, what tips are they, please, and can I see the C curve, what that's like?
Yeah, these are the Dura tips here, and this will only work if you've got a very deep smile line here. Okay. So if I look down the barrel here, you see
it's quite a C curve, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I only use tips with deep C curves. The precision tips have got lovely C curves as well. These Dura tips, ultra deep smile lines, are wellless also and have a deep C curve and also a deep smile line. And if I put that up to it, I can actually see them. How about that? So see the smile line is a bit better. Okay. So I'm just going to cut the length of that tip now.
I mean, these are not to take over from acrylics anyway, are they? If you like using acrylics, that's absolutely fine.
Do you know what you could actually do with this? You could put the tip on like that, make it any colour, and I could actually go over with the traction acrylic over that.
Yeah,
and I've made
because
my
you can
own
mix and match, yeah.
Because all our products interact with each other. All our dipping powders, these dipping powders you can use with attraction, you can use with the primers liquid. Remember, if you're using attraction with these, it's a medium setup. If you're using the primers liquid, it has slightly more humour in it. It will make a creamy consistency and it's a slower setup. When you're using intense powders, it'll always be a slower setup than if you're using cool powders because of the intensity of the pigmentation in there.
Amy Louise Gani says, hi Denise.
Hi!
Rebecca has asked, do the tips have a well? The Dura Ultra don't have a well,
Don't have a well.
No. We do have a normal Dura tip with a well, a slight well if it's not quite so secret.
If you have the ones with the well, you won't be able to do the smile line unless you need the wellless ones for that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the poly base and do exactly the same and make that first layer, which is going to make the bond into the nail. But I'm only going to go up to the smile line. Okay, so
it's unbelievable. It's so easy, isn't it?
Yeah, those of you that struggle with smile lines, this is just perfect. So what I've done is just literally gone up to the smile line. Okay, that's going to go in the lamp to cure. 30 seconds in the lamp to cure. Now the next layer I'm going to do is literally just up to where that smile line is. The reason being, and then I'm going to dip, and I'm going to dip in the opaque powder this time. Because when you have French, it's just going to give you a little bit of mask, which is really nice. So as the smile line grows out, you won't see the natural nail so much.
Rebecca says thank you. It's really useful. You're welcome, Rebecca.
Remember, look, just tap my pot. The reason why I've tapped the pot is to release the powder into itself. It makes it more fluffy for dipping. Okay. So, and again, I'm going to just go up to the smile line. I'm not doing anything over this section here.
Oh yeah, just to let everybody know as well, we have got VAT free on this week. Literally, you've only got to spend £25 net to qualify for a VAT free. So that's great to start yourself off with the system.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now all I'm doing is literally going around the smile line now.
So you can slightly build there then with that, have you? Is that what you're
I've just sort of floated it around. If you get something on the natural nail like that, just literally wipe it off. Don't go, oh my god, panic, panic, panic. It really doesn't matter. Because the opaque powder will only stick to where we floated in there. So I'm now just going to dip.
So even though that's a thicker layer, you can still dip into the powder?
I haven't done that too thick. It's just, it will automatically fill what I call this smile line area here.
Right.
Okay. Because what we're doing is bringing that layer up so it's level.
Right.
Okay. Don't worry about this powder. That's not going to grip to anything because we've only put the poly base on there. See this powder sitting on the top? Don't try and brush that off because where it's wet, you're going to put lines in it. It doesn't need it. It's going to cure and we're going to brush it off afterwards. Okay. This is the most fun way to actually do French nails.
Rebecca says she's doing an acrylic course next month. Can she use the colours as an acrylic builder?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
That was short and sweet, wasn't it? But just remember, if you're building with them, because the intensity of colour, it will be slower setting for you. And when you finish, I'm actually going to, the next nail I am going to do, I'm actually about to build in, I'm going to sculpt for you in the coloured powders. So you will, if you hang on tight, you'll actually see me do that. This powder here, I'm just going to brush off. You can see when I brushed it off, it's not sitting on here because we didn't put any poly base on. But now I'm going to do poly base and I'm going to do it over the whole of the nail and dip in clear because that's going to give my strength because now this is level. Okay, because by just putting that poly base and dipping in this section here has brought this up level with your tip. So here we go. And this is what's going to pop the colour as well. And just stroke it on. You'll only get fat nails with this if you float it. You don't want to float it. The brush is designed to stretch it. That's why it's a very short, stubby brush, so you can stretch it. See how I'm really stretching
you can
that
control
brush.
it,
You can
can't
control it. And it's the trusting product. So we're going to have clear. Use the clear powder. Okay. You can pop it in your, I would pop it in my beautiful NSI glittery pots, but I've used them all. Tap the pot. And did you see the powder pop there? Did you see that fall over? So I wonder if the opaque can do that. I want you to watch the powder. If I open this now, if I don't pop it, this is solid. Okay. So watch how that literally a couple of seconds. There you go. And you'll see that last bit.
Just drop
down.
You need
this to drop down. There you go. Sorry. That's a good tip to find everyone. Okay, so I'm going to dip now in the clear. The beauty of it as well, if you've noticed, we've had that, I can faff around, it's not going anywhere because it holds it, it's not going to leak anywhere. That's the beauty, so much control with this product. And now I'm just going to go in, absorb up the whole of now. Just tap towards the cuticle because I don't want too much in that cuticle area.
When I've had acrylics doing this way, it does feel tight on my nails. I'm quite sensitive, but with this, I feel no tightness whatsoever.
So with this French, remember you can do any colour French design, and you could go over. You could even use these powders with your attraction liquid. You could do that and go over. So you can mix your dipping system with your attraction system. You could go over with a gel if you wanted. You can mix it with your balance.
Wow.
You can mix it with your removable. All our products interact with each other.
But the disguise in the secrets will be fantastic.
You can dip in the secrets of the disguise as well. Remember though, if you pick up a disguise powder with attraction, it will look different than if you dip, because when you dip, you'll find the glitter will rise slightly to the surface because it's a lighter consistency than the acrylic.
Yeah.
So you'll get a slightly different look.
Yeah.
So all our powders you can dip, all our traction powders you can dip, but the reason why these have the Simplicité on the top is because these give you the best, clearest clarity with the dipping system. So you can try dipping in our attraction powders, but remember you'll get a different look. These are the best ones for the dipping. But you can dip in the disguise, you can dip in the conceal, it's just fun. Dip in anything, yeah, it's great. Okay, so just see how that powder's sitting on top. We didn't need that. They couldn't fit in the lid.
So it literally would just absorb what it needs, won't it?
That's why you can't make them too big.
Yeah.
See, with the liquid and powder system, and this is what I'm saying for people that need to get nails up and running very quickly for the girls in the salon. If you feel that's flat, feel that through that centre, you haven't got that there.
Of course.
Yeah. So now I'm going to do the poly base. You can get them making money for you a lot quicker. Because with the liquid and powder system, you are reliant on the skill of the tech to pick up the right amount of product in their bead.
Yeah, they've got to think about ratios.
Yeah. Where with this, because, like I say, you're stroking it on, once it's full, it's full.
So really, you just need to be able to paint a nail.
If you can do
this.
A gel polish, you can do a Simplicité system.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And if you come on the course, if you can do natural nails, you can, I love big pots. If you can do natural nails, then you can do your dipping in colour and dipping in natural. If you haven't done nails before, then you need to come on the course to learn how to apply tips, because that's slightly more advanced. So, but you can start making money straight away. Upsell your gel polish, get people having a dip under their gel polish.
And don't forget, everyone, we're at the Manchester show this weekend. I think it stands C31. And we are having lots of PolyDip demonstrations at the stand. And you'll be able to see all those demos going on the stand there.
I love a show. Everyone should visit a show and have a look at the demos. It's a good way to talk to the educators that are demonstrating. We're always around, aren't we, answering questions all the time. And it's fun.
It's just nice to see it being done, isn't it? I mean, if they can't make it there, you can always look back on this. This will be a video that you can see again. But it is always good to get to the show to actually see it.
Okay. So all I've got now is my 180 grit file. I'm just bringing in the side walls so they're nice and slender. There's a little bit more filing, obviously, with this type of build now, which is why it's more of an advanced technique for the dipping system, but it's still just great. If you're a nail tech that has to do your own nails, it's just so nice to do not have the stress of trying to get that bead, turn your hand around. Yeah.
Rebecca says, can you mix the hard gel with the colour PolyDip to build?
As in what? Getting this and mix it into the hard gel?
Yeah, I should imagine so.
It won't give you this colour. The best way if you want this colour is to build in your hard gel. If you mix this with a hard gel, you make a paste, but it'll be suspended. If you want this colour, I'd build my nail in a gel. I'd put the poly base on, dip it in the colour to get your colour, and then seal and use it almost instead of a permanent polish. That'd be the best way to get this intensity of colour. That's what this one is. This is acrylic underneath, and I've just then put poly base on, dipped it in the colour, and that's given me the colour over the top that I need. If I fold that off, it'd be clear underneath. I would do it that way.
Bonnie says, hi Denise.
Hi. So I'm just going around the cuticle area here, just very gently. The beauty of this product is where it's so easy to file. I don't know if any of you have made a nail in acrylic and you sort of go, oh God, I'm filing forever.
Much less dust, you can't
it's
really.
Less dust. And also they soak off a lot quicker as well, because where they're finer, you've got the strength, and they're thinner. The beauty of it is they file off, they soak off a lot quicker as well, especially in our nice soothing soak off liquid. That's really lovely. And we found as well, when we've been doing the trials, that all our products have vitamins in as well, and the nails are healthier when they're soaked off.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. So if any of you are worried, if your clients are worried about their natural nails, you can tell that even in our liquids now and all our gels, we have infused it with vitamins.
So Rebecca said the polygel is like a builder. Is that correct?
It's not a builder gel. It's not as thick as a builder gel. If you try and absorb this powder into builder gel, it's a different chemistry. If you just built out in our polybase, if you sculpted out in this, okay, it would have a flex to it. What makes it hard is the powder being infused into it, and it's the chemistry within the polybase and mixed with the powder gives it the strength. If you build out in a builder gel, you've got your hardness there straight away, but it hasn't got the chemistry in it that melts the powder in as an effective way.
It's a full system, isn't it?
It's a full system.
Hope that helps, Rebecca.
So I'm just going to wipe the cleanse, get rid of the dust, and then I'm just going to seal it up. And that intensity of colour, look at that smile line. And again, I want to show how thin that is. Look how thin that nail is.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
I know. To get that in acrylic, even to get that density of colour, to build
and
that
the
in,
smile line
and the
like
smile
that.
line with a liquid and powder, you wouldn't get it as thin as that.
Christmas nails could be all sparkly at the end.
Yeah, that with a bit of gold,
Yeah.
dip in a bit of lunar, that'd be lovely. So I'm just going to seal up that now, make that colour pop. And you can see the difference with, this is the opaque pink and this is the sheer pink.
Yeah, I
Can you
like
see
the
the
opaque
difference?
pink. It's lovely.
It's lovely. You can also, those of you, you can just dip in opaque pink, do the two dips in the opaque. Or do one dip in opaque and then one dip in clear, so you're not going to make it patchy. And then you could even put a brush on white smile line over the top.
Yeah.
Okay, look how gorgeous that is.
That's lovely. And it feels
Do you see
really
the opaque,
strong.
how that has popped your nail bit there?
Yeah.
It makes this one look quite cool.
Yeah. I like that.
Mm. So that's another way of doing that, giving perfect smile lines as we did. So just going to go again, those of you who haven't seen, imagine if you dipped in your opaque, you could do a brush on smile line. But again, let me just show you very quickly how you can dip a smile line. You could do this in white, you could do it in clear. Oh, I just need to show you how to do an ombre as well. Just get some more of those dips. So beautiful smile lines. And I'm going to show you how to do ombres as well. We've done the marbling. Okay. Just dip one more smile line to show you how to
Oh, I
do that.
love that, Denise.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's a density, and you've got, we're just going to wipe the cleanse to take that tacky residue off. You could have the choice. You could actually say to your client, what smile line colour would you like, and show them all the dip colours, and they can choose it. You can match up to a dress at Christmas time.
That's so nice.
So that's with it dipped onto a tip, and then this again. Let's just show you again how to dip that smile line by doing it freehand as well. Okay.
You can literally see the smile developing, can't you?
Yeah. I'm going to hold it. Because the powder's so fine, hold it for just 5 seconds. So when it comes out, tap it downwards so it doesn't tap into your clear. And
Amazing.
there you have.
Oh, hi, Deborah. She's watching from Texas.
Hey!
Hi, Deborah.
I've just come back from Philly out there for the university.
Lynette says, what would you charge customers for this system?
How I would do this in the salon, if I can just give you in pounds, because obviously I wouldn't know dollars. If I was doing natural like this all over the nails, if I was doing a gel polish, I'd charge £25, for example. If I was doing a dipping colour for reinforcement, I would charge £35. If I'm doing tip application, I would then charge an extra £10 on top of £45. So that's the ratios I would give between gel polish, natural overlay and extensions.
And I suppose then they'd obviously check out their local, what's going on with the pricing in their local area as well.
Exactly, because different areas are charging, commercial things. Now, when you do things like this, they can't go to any other salon and get that if they're breaking out. If you're doing this all the time, they can. So start customising your nails for your clients, because it makes them come back to you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. If anyone has anything they'd like to see for this afternoon, let us know. Have we got time to do the sculpt, or we'll do that this afternoon? I'm going to sculpt now in acrylic, but if there's anything I haven't showed you within our systems, dipping systems or acrylic systems that you'd like to see, then we are back this afternoon, and I can do that on Karen's other hand, give her a multitude of things.
Can't wait.
So a lot of questions was, can you build in our PolyDip powders? Yes, you can. So I'm going to do a sculpting on this one just to show you. And I'm going to do it a little bit longer for you, Karen. Is that all right?
That's nice.
And I'm going to show you also how you can sort of tap the powders in or dip in there to show you that you can actually colour fade through that. If I do the sculpting one this afternoon, so I want to show you really how to dip a colour a bit more deeper, really. What should we do? What should we
come back this afternoon and spend a bit more time on that one?
Why don't I do a sculpting one on here first, just to show you can sculpt. I think people worry, but it's not strong enough to actually sculpt.
Yeah, I do get asked that a lot. So you can sculpt with this.
And then this afternoon, I'll show you how to do a few more tricks of dipping the colour in and dry brushing it to make it. Because there's so many, I could be here all day.
I know.
If anybody wants to see me all day, no.
We've been asked what time this afternoon. Have we got a time when we're doing this afternoon? What time is it now? About 2:30. Around 2:30, Dawn.
Okay, perfect. Right, so I'm going to do a nice sculpting now here. These are our beautiful stiletto forms.
Just one quick question, Denise.
Yes.
Rebecca says she's got to go in a minute. She's going to watch again later, but do you file after the dip's cured, or put seal on, then cure, or number 3, then cure, file and seal? So let's break that down.
Okay, first bit.
I've got, do you file after the dip has been cured, or do you put seal on and then cure?
You always have to, when it comes out, when you've dipped the nail and you've cured it, it's got a rough surface. You either have to put polybase on, cure, or seal and cure before filing. So you haven't got that roughness on the top. It makes it a solid. If it's rough on the top where you haven't sealed it in the polybase or in the seal before filing, imagine like a bit of sandpaper and rough it like that, bits and pieces will come off. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and you like we've put down here, do you have to put number 3 on, cure, and then seal? We don't always have to put number 3 on at the end unless you've got colour on, do you? Because that's when if you're going to file, you might file through the seal over the colour.
Polybase is your strength, and it's a self-leveler and it's a bulk. What people are doing is with the colour is the seal is a very thin product. If I show you the different viscosities, can I just show you this very quickly?
Sorry.
Okay.
Rebecca's put, is there anything you cannot do with this that acrylic would be better for? Like I say, it's not to take over from acrylic, is it? But
no.
You simply can do anything you want.
You can. If you're doing 3D, I'd probably do that in your acrylic. You can make a paste with it. But it's just a lot of hard work. We've got a new product that's going to be coming out, so keep tuned on that. Keep an eye on the new product we've got coming out. Basically, no, because even the Hombres, so like this, I'll show you very quickly about an ombre.
Gemma's interested in seeing it used with the acrylic. That's what we'll be doing this afternoon as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So just very quickly, here's an ombre. Remember, I'm patting the powders. I've got 2 here. I've got Daydream and I've got Cloak and Dagger. Beautiful. If I was doing this on a client, I'd do your polybase first, I'd cure. You always need that first polybase for degen. Then you do your second coat of polybase. Nice and thin on there. Now, and I would dip. You can do it 2 ways. You can dip and dip, or you can get one colour underneath this. So I'm just going to put it in and make the one colour straight away. Okay. So I've made like a colour base in a pale colour. I'm going to put that in there and cure. Now the next one, I'm going to dip to get this in the dark colour first, and then I'm going to tap it down the nail. Okay, you can see how it bounces itself down on there. And then I'm going to dip straight in the pink which will then give the bottom, which gives you then your ombre effect, and that's what I'm going to do. So when this comes out, you brush off the excess. Okay. Now you can dip it. Some people like to sprinkle it. You can do whatever you like. So I'm just going to dip. Don't go too far down with the dark. Right, now watch, I'm going to tap. It's going to travel randomly down the nail. Okay. If you feel more comfortable, you could actually do this and just tap it a little bit more on where you want it. You see then how you can just feather it down.
Right.
And then you're going to go in the pink. Again, just tap it down, and it's going to go. Or again, you can sprinkle it, and that's how you get the ombre effect.
And if anybody has missed anything so far, you can watch the video back, so you can catch up on that.
You can even go as much as you like. You can even put a third colour in there if you wanted. You can see how you can
it just doesn't get thicker and thicker, does it? It just stays a really nice, natural looking nail.
But you think how quick that is?
Amazing.
Okay. And so you do your ombres.
Fabulous.
I know. I think it has amazed me as the product has evolved. Like when we brought it out, we called it Simplicity because it was so simple. And then, as we found, we can do so many other things with it. But it's just quite amazing, which has allowed the technician to have.
I just love that.
I know, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely love it.
To get a nail like that in acrylic is a high skill tech.
From the side, it's so slender. It's lovely, but feels unbelievably strong
and light.
Very,
you don't
very
have
light.
That tightness,
no,
do you?
No tightness whatsoever. And I do have sensitive nails. I always feel tight. Sometimes for 24 hours I can feel it.
Yeah.
But don't feel anything at all. It's really comfortable.
Okay. The glasses on so I can see. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to do a sculpted nail. Applying the nail form. These are our stiletto forms I just run. So I'm just going to build a bridge here. How long do you want it?
As long as you want, Denise.
Let's do it to about there. Okay. Feel nice and tight on that?
Feels lovely.
Cool. Right, I'm just going to prime you up then. So in this one, I'm going to use, I'll do them on small pots because you'll be easier. I'm going to do a colour fade from Cabernet and Cloak and Dagger, but I'm actually going to be doing it with the Attraction Liquid.
Exciting.
Oh, I just love it. And then I'm going to put a bit of, do you fancy silver or gold in it? What do you fancy?
I think a little bit of gold.
A little bit of gold, so I'm going to use the Effect Secrets powder. So what we're mixing here is Secrets, the Simplicity powders and the Attraction, and also, just to show you can build, I'm going to build then the structure in the Simplicity clear as well, to show you can use everything with our Attraction liquids. That's what's so easy. So first and foremost then, let's do a bit of priming. Use the Attraction primer. And then I'm going to do what we call just going to do like a link bead here. Oh, that's a nice little sound. Time for tea. It's time to do a brew.
A brew up north.
We don't say that down south.
No,
we say
no.
we'd like a cup of tea, please. Tea. Okay. Now I'm going to use the opaque pink as well, I think, to make our smile line. just to show you again. And it'd be interesting to see that when I do it with acrylic liquid, the difference in your opaque pink on here to when it's dipped in, because you will get a totally different colour.
I must say I do love the opaque pink. I've not used it yet.
Oh, don't you?
No.
I think it's a piece of it. Let me move your hand over here so I can see the colours I'm working more, so that actually I've got liquid. So the first I'm going to use now then is the Simplicité clear. And I'm just going to put like a little, what I call a stroke through here, just to put, you'll see why in a moment. Now when I do this, I'm actually making quite a flat platform, because I'm just literally linking this stress area. So when I do my reverse smile line, you'll see me do in a moment, it has something to sit on. And this being flat, totally flat here, means the density of my opaque will be totally even. That makes sense. So now I'm going to do a reverse. So I'm using attraction with the opaque of the dipping powder. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to extend your smile line, is that okay? Yeah. Now can you see the difference in the opaque colour?
Yeah. It's more of a cloudy pink.
Yeah. Where this one's more of a pink.
Yeah.
Because the pigment reacts differently in the suspension of the dipping system to
it's just adapting, isn't it, to what you want or what your client wants.
Yeah. I'm going to let you talk, because when I do smile lines, I can't
speak.
I can't speak and talk at the same time. I usually hold my breath. It's my head in the way.
That's so easy to do, the reverse smile, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
It's literally when you place that bead down, the smile is already there for you.
Yeah, especially if you turn your brush around, because if you turn your brush around this way, can you see your brush is virtually a smile line for you?
It's amazing. And that does still feel, even though you're using the acrylic liquid, that still feels quite light.
Good. The trick is when you sculpt with things like this is that fitness of the form. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do the second bead now. Can you see if I just turn how I've literally blended that through? So that's quite fine. And and I haven't got, you can't actually see where my glue is, can you?
No, not at all.
Because it's just literally just a stabilizer. I'm just going to do. You can actually, what we do, can colour pop as well. Those of you that are really into your nail art and you want to do colour popping, what you can actually do is colour pop with the sheer, either sheer pink or even with the dipping system, which is the pink silk, or even with your radiant pink. It's all going to give you a different tone. And I'll show you what I mean. I think it's quite nice to see. Now, if your client doesn't like the opaque here growing up, I've even done it where I've done this zone and this zone in the opaque and do this one in the purely pink of the attraction. So when it grows up, it has a slightly more natural look if they don't like a complete solid. And I'm just going to do what we call colour pop then. I'm just going to get the pink silk, which is in my nice sparkly. Do you know, I've got these all over the tables. The girls just
are gorgeous,
I just do that. And it just warms because it's got like more of a glue. You can see that's quite good in comparison. If you do this, you see how it just warms up.
Yeah, it changes the colour, doesn't it? Completely there. Well, subtly rather than completely. It does give a different look.
It's just like more glassy, isn't it?
Like you say, warmer.
Okay. I'm just going to give that a bit of a squeeze here. Now, when I've sculpted that, because I've got the clear underneath and it's so thin, it dries a little bit slower. So I'm just going to get my little tools. And when people say about, oh, pinching, I'm not actually pinching on our bed. I'm actually just pinching the form either side here. And what that does, by pinching the form here, it gives me a little bit more space on the side here for my colour to come round with the smile line. And just turn that to the side. See, I'm pinching the form. I'm not pinching the nail.
That's not uncomfortable at all.
You can't feel it pinching, can you? But all it's doing is wrapping this round. So when you look down the barrel of the nail, you actually, can you see how that's pinched that? And it just gives me more space for my product to go in here.
Good tip there, Denise.
I love a little bit of a tip. Okay. Just make sure it's nice. And these forms, can you feel how tight that is on your finger?
Very, very comfortable.
Really, really nice. So you haven't got them popping over every 5 minutes. I just love those ones. Right, so now I'm going to go to the the colour. If you wanted to, because I've got this clear base underneath, you could file up and neaten up your smile line if you wanted to. I think, and what I mean by that, those of you who haven't done it, it just means that you come in here and just neatening up your front line. Now you can only do this if you put that clear platform underneath, because otherwise you're going to move your form. But because the clear's there, it won't. Can you feel that? It's not moving at all,
No,
is it?
not at all.
So if you thought, oh, I just need to smarten up my smile line, you can do that. Okay, but only if you've done that clear platform underneath. Okay, just clean up that dust. I'm just using a bit of monomer just to rub on that. Just clean that there. So now I'm going to go straight through with my cabinet and my cloak and dagger to create a sculpting. So just show how you can use the PolyDip powders as a colour.
Danny's just joined us. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Danny Simmons. She said we stock them at the NTN nail technique. I'm rubbish with names, mate. The Nail Tech Network. They're going to be stocking these shortly as well.
Cool. So when this goes on, because this is highly pigmented, to get an even colour, you need to wait for it to absorb into the liquid, or sometimes you just have to do what we call a slight little swirling motion. But the beauty of it, remember, because it's highly pigmented, it will be a slightly slower setup. Okay, so I'm just going to fade this off.
No, right. Yeah, because someone was saying to me the other day that they found that there was some pigmentation showing through, whereas you swirl it, didn't you? Is that what you said?
See how that I'm waiting for the colour to totally absorb. So it's just you have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Then when you put it on, if you've got, then you can just give it like a little swirl to mix it in together.
Yeah.
And that will give you a more
slightly
even,
different workability.
because it's so highly pigmented that when you put the liquid to it, the pigment floats to the top. But when you do colour fades and things like that, it's ideal. But if you're doing, now what you can do is when it's slightly wet, if you wanted to, you could actually just then add a bit of powder and just tap it in and see if like that dents out. Then if you add a little bit of liquid to it and it just melts in like a paint, really. Yeah. That's why I quite like that. So I'm just going to stretch up a little bit just to make it a bit longer for you. So just, you'll see then how it comes out. And then I'm going to go in with my cloak and dagger. And then I'll encapsulate it in a clear. But it is, like I say, it will be slower setting. If you have a smile line, I'm just going to clean up the smile line using the liquid, just pushing it out, clean it up. So this is colour, I love this. This is just so gorgeous.
Oh, that is lovely.
Okay. If you find it's a little bit wet for you, if you just dap it out, the liquid out the back of your brush, it will just intensify it. You see, it makes it a bit more of a solid and stop the running. So, depending on what you want to do with it. Just stretching that up. And then I'm just going to wet my brush because I want the glitter just to travel down just into that ink.
You have got the time, haven't you, to do that as well?
Do you know, I think that's why texts like working and sculpting in colour is because the setup time is that little bit slow. It gives that slightly freedom.
Yeah, to work with the artistic side.
But then if you like to work fast, sometimes like somebody who's used to working pink white all the time, it's quite quick. Just set up, but you just got to be patient with it. But that's art. So now I'm going to bring like the gold, which is the lunar. Okay, I'm just going to put like a little effect through the centre there to link the two together. Okay, these effects powders are already mixed with a little bit of acrylic for you, so you just go ahead straight and move them. If you want to get our glitters, you can mix them, the pure glitters, you can get your pots and mix them with the clear powders to make them into the glitters that you want as well. Depends what type of tech you are. Some of us are quite, I can customise, I've got a pot for my client that's customised for them. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of It's leaning through that. Now, I don't want it too heavy, so what I'm doing is just wetting my brush down, because I want it as an effect, like it says on the tin. I don't want it to overpower.
It literally is just an effect, isn't it?
Yeah, so what I'm doing, if you make it wetter, I can actually move the bits around. It's beautiful, isn't it?
So nice.
And then what I'm going to just cut, now if you turn to the side, you still see I've got a step here. So my clear is what's going to give me my structure on the top. So I'm going to use the clear of the Simplicité powders just to show you that you can interact with them. It's a finer powder, so for some of you it might give you that slightly slower setup that you like. Because remember, everything we have fast powders, depending on what product you're using. And this is where those of you that haven't done a conversion day, come on the acrylic conversion days, come on gel and learn about your products. Because sometimes you say, oh, that product's not doing that, and it's not, the product's not doing it, you're not using the right products to give the effect that you want. Okay, so I'm going to use the fine powder of the dip system as my structure. Because it's a finer powder with the acrylic system, it'll actually give you a slower setup. If you like a slower powder, you can always use our primerless liquid, and that, because it has a little bit more HEMA in it, so you don't have to use a primer. If you have a client with a real problem, you can add primer to it as well. It will give you an even slower setup. So if you like a slow setup liquid, try the primerless liquid. And you might find, can you see how that melts down?
Yeah,
you can tell it looks like a softer compared to the other attraction powders that we've got, because it's a finer. It's creamier, doesn't it? You can really see it looks creamier, doesn't it? So those of you that do like to have a play with products with the acrylics, and you might find you like working with them.
Yeah, some like to have a slower set, don't they? Completely. Yeah. So
the only thing when you have a slower set, it melts down a lot more in itself.
Yeah.
Because where the polymer beads are finer, they sort of melt into themselves and don't hold up as high as the ones with the bigger beads. But try them. It's actually nice to work with. Oh, I'll just put a notepaper on top of it. Get told off. So there just shows you that you can sculpt it. I'm just going to wait for that to dry out. Is there any questions while that's curing?
Got any questions?
Has everyone gone off for a cup of tea?
Yeah. That's so nice. I love it.
So nice. You know when it's dry, when it starts to go sort of like dull. Okay? And the trick is when you're doing a sculpted now, and as you can see, we've got the theme of the cabinet going across there, which is nice. But that's 3 different structures that we've given to you, and you can see the colour is, you know, it's nice and is matching.
That's lovely.
Just tap that. See, like here, can you hear that? That's ready. It's not really going to.
And a lot of salons use this system purely just to do for the gel polish over the top, don't they?
Yeah.
Just to dip it and put your gel polish over the top.
Because clients do like their gel polish colours, so
they do.
Yeah, you find the youngsters like the dipping colour because they like to have it soaked off every time, change it every time, and they're used to that.
Something different.
Where you find your gel polish colour ladies, they like their gel polish and they like their nails painted. It's just a different type of clientele. Yeah. It suits both markets.
Yeah. So if you've got a host of colours of gel polish, this is still perfect for that, isn't it?
Yeah. But you can still use these ones for doing your French ends. You can actually tap into a different market. Okay, so here we go. It's always like your worst nightmare when you do a demo like this. So you take it off and you tear the end off. It's like, let's give it a go. When you take a nail form off, just turn to the side. I want you just to release it here first. And just see how you release it here first before you then try and pull it off. Okay? And then it'll just like pop out. Just like that. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to get rid of our frillies first, because if you get your product nice and thin, you can actually see down the barrel there that why didn't your finger bend that way?
I'm sorry, Denise.
Look down the barrel there. I haven't done it over thick, so my filing isn't going to be too much. I'm just going to get rid of the frillies first. So turn to the side. Let's bring that in. Okay. You feel that's nice and strong, just feels like a normal
really
acrylic, doesn't
strong,
it?
yeah.
So it just shows you that you can use all the powders interact. So you can have all those colours at your disposal. You just have one product, which is our NSI PolyDip powders, and it will do your dipping, it will do for your acrylics, all those colours from one system.
I love the way everything mixes. You can just mix them all together.
You can. That's the beauty of NSI. It's like the modern thing. We want you to make the light. We're a technician-driven company, so we listen to what the techs want. The techs don't want too much to fliff and faff around. They want everything to interact with each other, so they only have to use one product. They pick one product out their drawer.
Takes a complication out of everything,
It
doesn't it?
does, yeah.
Hazel says hi, Denise.
Hi. How you doing? Okay, so we're going to come up towards the centre to find that cuticle area. Okay, everything when you do like an almond or a stiletto type shape now, everything has to come up to the centre. Don't flatten your spine through here. Far around the cuticle area. Okay, and then bring it up to the centre. Is it wobbling from falling? And then we're just going to literally link it through.
Sharon says hi.
Hi. And then just buff it through. Just turn to the side. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. And just get our buffer. Just going to pull that dust for you. Give it a nice little bit of buff. Does it feel comfortable?
Yeah, unbelievably actually. I've never had the nails that long, Denise.
I think we should keep this for the show next week.
Yes. I'll have to get out of
It'd
helping
be
out on the stand.
Do you know, it'd be funny
No
typing.
setting up for me now.
Oh, sorry. When you type and you're going up 1, 2, 3, think 1, 2, 3, think.
It should get me out of a few jobs.
Yeah, we're just going to clean with cleanse. So hopefully that's shown people that you can use your dipping powders with your acrylics across the range and it's still just as strong. I think people think because they're fine powders they won't be as strong. They are as strong, they're just slower setting up. And I'm going to use my seal, okay, for this one, just to show that you can interact and use it all for one thing. And that's a lovely colour of
That's
opaque
really
as well,
nice.
isn't it? So you can see how those colours really are popping now.
It's completely covered the nail there, hasn't it? So you can extend the nail bed. You can't see through that at all.
You put that in for me.
Thanks, Rona. Rona said it looks really nice.
Has it given you some ideas, Rona, hopefully? Of all the different bits and pieces we're doing. And don't forget we're back again this afternoon at
About 3, is it?
about 3 o'clock. So and we'll be anything that anyone particularly wants to see, then do send us how they're going to just request it just when we come live.
Yeah,
Send
on Facebook.
Yeah, contact us on Facebook and you can then see all the different bits that we're doing. The light's gone out there, that's only 30 seconds. Just going to do a nice cleanse, take off the tacky residue. Remember on this one you could actually use your Blaze and Go as well if you wanted. I just wanted to show how you can interact all your products with each other, and that's the beauty of NSI. A little bit of oil to finish, and there you have.
Andrea says she has trouble with the Simplicity gel brush. It seems to clog up.
Are you making sure that you brush off the dust before you
That would be the only
reapply?
thing, wouldn't
That's
it?
the only thing that would go in there, especially as you get down the bottom. If you make sure that you always dust off the product before you put your second coat of product on. When it's coming out the light and you're not brushing that off and you're going straight over the top, you're going to pick up a bit of dust on there.
Yeah. Get a bit closer with that. Oh, it's just so nice.
So PolyDip clear, PolyDip dip in a French tip, and then we've got an acrylic PolyDip, and then the little pinky, which is left on its own out here, that's it, is dipping in colour.
Fabulous.
They give you the same colour range on the both.
Yeah,
so
they
that
sort
was
of
fun.
blend, don't they?
They do indeed.
I love that one. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. We see you guys this afternoon.
See you later.